Imagine arriving in the African wilderness in 1938 and discovering that your expedition vehicle contains a private bedroom, bathroom, electric kitchen, air conditioning, laboratory, and radio station. That sounds like a modern luxury expedition truck, but the international Jungle Yacht actually did exactly that. Built for Italian explorer Commander Attilio Gatti, these extraordinary machines were created for his 10th African expedition and were anything but ordinary campers. International Harvester produced 2 of them, turning a commercial truck platform into what was essentially a luxury apartment designed to travel through the Belgian Congo. The name Jungle Yacht was fitting. International's promotional material presented the machines as luxurious mobile headquarters, while the enormous streamlined body made them look more like a futuristic land yacht than a truck. Their mission was serious, though. Gatti wanted to explore Africa, document wildlife, and conduct research, while his wife and expedition team needed a comfortable base far from normal roads and cities. The story begins with Attilio Gatti, an Italian-born explorer, filmmaker and author who had already completed numerous African expeditions before partnering with International Harvester. For his 10th expedition, which took place in the Belgian Congo from 1938 into 1940, International Harvester built 2 jungle yachts and supplied additional trucks for the support caravan. The spectacular streamlined bodies were designed by Count Alexis de Sachnovsky, a stylist known for his interest in aerodynamic forms, and the jungle yachts were built around 1937 International Harvester D35 chassis, according to commonly cited records. Each enormous unit was about 44 feet long and weighed roughly 9 tons, making maneuvering through rough terrain a serious challenge. Yet that size allowed Gatti to carry equipment, supplies, and living facilities in one machine. His expedition also sought to find and document the elusive okapi, often called the forest giraffe, making the jungle yacht both a home and a working headquarters. The engineering underneath the spectacular body was based on International Harvester's heavy-duty truck technology of the period. The jungle yacht used a conventional truck platform rather than a purpose-built luxury chassis, with the living body carried by a commercial international platform. Sources identify the underlying equipment with the D35, while historical photographs also document international DS-30 truck tractors used with semi-trailers during the same period. So it is more accurate to describe the Jungle Yacht as a specially built expedition trailer and international truck combination rather than a normal factory model. The towing truck used rear-wheel drive and a 6-cylinder gasoline engine, while the enormous living unit behind it was built to carry roughly 9 tons. At around 44 feet long, this was never going to behave like a small expedition vehicle. Turning through narrow jungle tracks, crossing rough ground, and positioning such a massive trailer would have required patience and careful driving. The engine story deserves special attention because the Jungle Yacht was not powered by some exotic racing motor. Its strength came from a practical international truck powertrain. The DS-30 tractor used to haul the expedition equipment was fitted with an international 6-cylinder gasoline engine producing about 84 horsepower, according to period-oriented references. That figure sounds tiny today, especially when the complete expedition combination could approach 9 tons, but this was commercial truck power intended for steady work rather than speed. The engine had to provide enough torque to move the heavily loaded combination over poor roads and keep operating far from normal repair facilities. Power was delivered through the truck's rear wheels, giving the expedition a conventional mechanical foundation. The exact maximum speed of the complete Jungle Yacht combination is not reliably documented in the surviving sources, so there is no reason to invent one. What is clear is that speed was never the priority. The machine was engineered around endurance, load carrying, and the ability to support an expedition in extremely remote conditions. The most unbelievable part of the Jungle Yacht was actually behind the cab, because the trailer was designed as a genuine living environment rather than a simple sleeping compartment. Each unit contained roughly 2.5 rooms, including a private bedroom, a full bathroom, an all-electric kitchen, and an office with a bar. The Wisconsin Historical Society's surviving photographs reveal just how detailed the interior was. The bedroom had a proper bed, dresser, telephone, and clothing storage, while the bathroom included a full-length bathtub and even towels marked with a G for Gatti. In the main living area, there was a desk, chair, bookshelf, sink, and reading material. There was also dedicated space for expedition equipment and research work. This was not luxury merely suggested by advertising photographs. The surviving interior documentation shows that the designers really attempted to create a functioning home inside the enormous, streamlined body. The equipment went far beyond furniture. The Jungle Yacht had soft electric lighting, heating, and air conditioning, allowing the occupants to control the interior climate even while camping in the African wilderness. A 110-volt generator mounted behind the truck cab supplied electrical power for the appliances and lighting. Gatti's office included a bar, while the expedition carried a photographic laboratory and a ham radio station, reflecting his work as a filmmaker, explorer, and communicator. The two trailers could also be connected together when the expedition stopped, transforming them into what International Harvester promoted as a 5-room apartment on wheels. And then there was the problem of wildlife. At night, the expedition camp was protected by a single-wire electric fence carrying a reported 4,500 volts, creating a barrier between the comfortable jungle yachts and curious animals outside. The contrast was extraordinary. Modern conveniences, cocktails, and air conditioning on one side of the fence and the African wilderness on the other. The Jungle Yacht was therefore not simply a strange-looking vehicle. It was a complete expedition system combining transportation, accommodation, communication, and scientific work. International Harvester used the machines as part of its own promotional story, and the Wisconsin Historical Society preserved numerous photographs showing them during their journey from the factory, and later during the African expedition. The company even displayed the Jungle Yacht concept in its showrooms, where thousands of people came to see the futuristic expedition equipment. Gatti's 10th expedition became the most famous use of the vehicles, but he later used the Jungle Yachts again during his 11th expedition to the Rwenzori Mountains on the Uganda-Congo border in 1947–48. Their later fate is much less certain. Modern sources generally state that only 2 Jungle Yachts were built, and the whereabouts of both are now unknown. That makes the surviving photographs especially valuable, because they document a machine that combined 1930s streamlining with the practical demands of serious African exploration. Today, the 1938 International Jungle Yacht looks almost unbelievable because it combines 2 worlds that normally never meet: advanced Art Deco streamlining and the brutal practicality of an African expedition. The machine was roughly 44 feet long, weighed about 9 tons, was based on a 1937 International Harvester D35 platform according to commonly cited records, and was moved by an international truck with an approximately 84 horsepower 6-cylinder gasoline engine. Its exact top speed is not securely documented, and that is perfectly fine because speed was never its purpose. What mattered was carrying people and equipment in comfort while crossing difficult territory. Inside were a bedroom, full bathroom, electric kitchen, office and bar, plus a photographic laboratory, workshop, radio equipment, climate control, and electrical power. 2 Jungle Yachts were built for Attilio Gatti, and neither is known to survive today. That makes this machine more than an unusual old truck. It is a glimpse into an era when luxury, technology, and adventure could all be packed into one enormous machine. If you enjoy discovering rare trucks, forgotten expedition vehicles, and extraordinary machines like this, make sure to subscribe to On Wheels, because there are many more incredible automotive stories waiting to be explored.